opportunities.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that there's always opportunity, but that's where also where information synthesis comes in. You have to be able to see it. You
Hmm.
have to look for the clues. You have to be willing to look for the clues. Um, and that's why you need some of that in order to be on the offense. Um, so yeah, I think that a lot of times we don't realize that there's always opportunity. If you have a, abundance mindset, you will see the opportunity. You will go after the opportunity. You will look for it. If you have a scarcity mindset, you won't see it. You won't look for it. And I do think um, there's a lot of people who haven't really understood the difference between abundance and scarcity.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think there's never an there's always going to be the next greatest opportunity. They're always there. You just have to be willing to decide, is this the one I want to take? And if so, I'm going to go and do it with everything I have.
And by the way, and I'll assume that your book is the same. We're talking about professional athletes here and their careers, but this all transfers over to your business career in the office or entrepreneurship, in your own private businesses or what have you. All these things transfer over because it's these skills that build the foundation of who you are.
Exactly. It really is true. And it doesn't really matter if you're, like I said, if you're a parent, if you're a coach, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're an athlete, anybody that has a drive to develop themselves or develop others. I mean, these are things you have to know and understand.
Yeah, I want to ask you one more important question, and then we'll wrap it up with how to get a hold of you. But we're talking about high performance people, and obviously it transfers into business. How do you coach them to maintain that level of performance over a long period of time? I mean, we see some of these athletes. Aaron Rodgers is all over the news right now. I mean, that guy's been performing at a high level for a long time now. Uh,
He's $1 million adjuster, and I define that in my book.
Yeah. So how do we get people to stay at that level for so long? Is there a quick solution or a quick comment about that?
That is funny because we developed a test to help us to see how people, like, that's how we just determined adjustment patterns. And then we took and ran thousands of algorithms with all this test data to see, just kind of what patterns came up and what else we could learn. And what we learned was that there are these great adjusters, and then there are these $1 million adjusters. And these guys do four things differently than a lot of other people do. And so what we did was we said, okay, if we there's several levels of this. First, just to get signed is one big like great thing to happen. And then to stay in it for a while is another great thing. But then to be a long-term performer, like some of these, top athletes, they have done some different things. And when you know these traits, you say, oh, that makes so much sense. I can see that in them.
Yeah.
And so now let's say, okay, do you want to work toward those traits? I think part of it is just being aware that there are specific things that they're doing in the way they adjust. Um, and really making it something that they focus on. So, it, yeah, there are things that we can do, and we point these things out. But honestly, not everybody wants to do that.
Yeah.
So it comes down to, what do you really want? And maybe it's just good enough that you're in pro sports for 5 years. Maybe you don't need to be in it for 10 or 15 years. Everyone has a point where they get to their threshold.
Linda, I appreciate your story. I really appreciate the book that you've written. I look forward to digging into it. Um, I've
Thank
got
you.
your website. Well, I've got the Amazon site on how to get your book. Is there a personal website or business that we should drive some traffic to, and how people can get a hold of you?
Yeah, I'm definitely, like, as you mentioned, on Instagram at Linda Wawrzyniak. I have a website, majorleagueconsulting.com. We are going to be adding things to that website as we continue on. So just keep checking back. We want to give some further information on potential uh, learning opportunities there. So yeah, I would say those are the two biggest areas right now. And of course, I'm on LinkedIn too.
Perfect. Well, there's probably so much more we can talk about, but I would love to read it in your book as well. So this will be an intro to that book, The $1,000,000 Adjustment.
Copy yet?
What's that?
Do you have a copy yet?
I don't have a copy yet. I figured I'd talk to you off the air about that. I like to get my copies autographed.
Absolutely. Make sure I will be happy to take care of that for you.
I love it. Thank you again, and I'm going to say goodbye for now, and we look forward to grabbing the book on the shelves.
Sounds great. Thanks so much for your time as well.
Thank you for listening to today's show. It is my pleasure and honor to interview all of the guests that have been on the Answer is Yes podcast. If you have enjoyed the show, please go on iTunes and subscribe, give a rating, or simply tell a friend about the show. We also believe in the message of our guests and the positive influence of their stories. As my own mentor and coach, David Meltzer, has taught me, spend some time every day thinking and writing about the things in your own life that you have more than enough of. You will find out how blessed we really are. Please visit my website, livelifedriven.com, for the latest updates about me and what I'm doing. Plus, I post a monthly blog about the many topics on this show. This podcast can also be found there. As I learned early on in life, what you believe is what you will achieve. Thanks, Mark Victor Hansen, and thank you, and have a great week.